The Vrelian cubs huddled in the corner of the training facility, their iridescent fur bristling with defiance. Ambassador Korvax stood before them, his four arms gesturing in exasperation at the ceremonial uniforms laid out on the metal benches. The galaxy's most prestigious youth diplomatic corps was about to commence its inaugural ceremony, and these 16 cubs were refusing to participate. "This is unacceptable," Korvax's translator chirped. "Your families have traveled across 3 star systems. The Council of Worlds awaits. You will wear the uniforms and represent your species with honor." The largest cub, barely reaching Korvax's lower thorax, chittered something defiant. The translator remained silent. The cub had deliberately spoken in a dialect too ancient for the device to process. Marcus Webb watched from the observation deck, sipping his coffee. The human liaison officer had seen this before, not with aliens, but with his nephew's soccer team back on Earth. Fear masked as rebellion. Pride hiding vulnerability. He set down his mug and descended to the training floor. "Ambassador, may I try?" Korvax's eye stalks swiveled toward him with obvious skepticism. Humans had only joined the galactic community 4 years ago. Hardly enough time to understand the complex social dynamics of species that had navigated the stars for millennia. But desperation made strange allies. "Proceed." Korvax stepped aside. Marcus knelt on the cold floor, bringing himself to eye level with the cubs. He didn't speak immediately. Instead, he simply sat, his presence calm and undemanding. The cubs' chittering gradually quieted. "You know," Marcus finally said, his voice soft, "I was scared the first time I wore a uniform, too." The cubs' ears twitched, the universal sign of curiosity among Vrelians. "I was maybe your age. Had to wear a suit for my grandfather's funeral. Changing, something I couldn't control." He picked up one of the small ceremonial sashes, running his fingers over the intricate weaving. "These are beautiful. Your people made these with their own hands, didn't they?" The largest cub nodded slowly. "The humans have this saying, clothes don't make the person. But I think that's only half true." Marcus held up the sash, letting it catch the overhead lights. "These don't change who you are. They remind everyone else to see what you already are. Brave, important, ready." He stood and held out the sash. "But you don't have to wear it alone. Sometimes the hardest part is just getting started. Would you let me help?" The cub hesitated, then stepped forward. Marcus draped the sash across the small shoulders, adjusting it with practiced hands. The cub stood taller, almost unconsciously. "There. How does that feel?" The cub chittered softly. The translator caught it this time, heavy. "Good," Marcus smiled. "Important things usually are. But you're strong enough to carry it." One by one, the other cubs approached. Marcus helped each of them, taking care with every clasp and fold. Korvax watched in silence, his skepticism gradually transforming into something approaching wonder. When the last cub was dressed, Marcus stepped back. The cubs stood together, no longer huddled in defiance, but arranged in a formation of their own choosing. They looked at each other, then at Marcus, then at their reflection in the polished walls. "You look like diplomats," Marcus said. "Like people who can change the galaxy." The largest cub straightened its spine. The others followed suit. "Ready?" Marcus asked. As one, the cubs nodded. Korvax led them toward the ceremony hall, but paused at the doorway. His translator carried a note it rarely processed: humility. "How did you know what to do?" Marcus shrugged. "We humans spend a lot of time being scared before we're brave. We've gotten pretty good at recognizing it in others." He glanced at the departing cubs. "And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is help someone take that first step. They do the standing on their own." The cubs marched into the ceremony with their heads high, their uniforms gleaming, their spirits unbroken. And in that moment, every species in attendance learned something new about the strange, soft creatures from Earth. They had a peculiar gift for seeing potential in the small, the frightened, and the defiant, and nurturing it until it stood